All right, guys, here we're going to talk about the movie Bloodsurf. 2000's Bloodsurf. Had you seen it before?
I had not.
Oh, you know I've seen this one.
Is it your favorite?
Not my favorite, saltwater crocodile movie, but it's pretty good.
It's up there.
It's up there. This time period is the time period for these movies because you had at least some practical effects and everything.
Okay.
Like, well, now it'll be a majority, if not exclusively, CGI. So yes, there's CGI in this, but there's a practical Crocs too, and I like that.
It changes the formula when you have a real thing to do. I didn't hate this movie. I think you're waiting for me to say that I hated this movie.
I can never tell with you.
I know. But this is different for reasons that I will get into once I am allowed to talk about it. But this, like, at first I hated it, but it slowly wore me down.
It won you over.
So I was like, well, okay, it's bad. It's not a good movie. It, like, looks bad. Everything's bad. The acting's bad. The writing's bad. It's bad. But I enjoyed it.
It's a fun concept. These extreme sports junkie surfer-esque people are there to do a music video, a like documentary video about blood.
We surf upon the blood.
Yeah, they cut their feet and then go surfing in shark-infested waters. What more of a premise do you need?
Yeah.
But then there's a gigantic crocodile.
So yeah, no, I didn't hate it. It's special. It's different. It's doing something.
All right, so we won't go into too much detail here. If you've seen it or don't care, false sort of spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are for the spoilers of Bloodsurf. Lee, let me hear them spoiler-filled thoughts.
Again, it is shit. It is bad. However, it gets 100,000,000 extra points for looking like it's going to be a shark movie and then being about a crocodile.
See you in a while, crocodile.
Yeah, it definitely subverts your expectations.
Yeah, that's kind of a unique experience that now I've ruined for everyone.
Well, we're in the spoilers, so if they're not ruined now, they're going to get ruined.
Right in the beginning, though, right? Because if you were hesitant, like, about watching it, like, and someone made you, right, for example, when you get to that point where you're like, wait, what? What the fuck?
Especially with the whole, it's ruined by the box. Like, it is a crocodile on the box. Yes. But yes, if you were just to tell somebody, oh, it's about a movie, these guys, like, they cut their feet and then go surfing in chummed waters, you'd be like, well, that's ridiculous. Okay. But yeah, then it is so much more ridiculous than that.
And it literally looks like it's all just building up to these, like, terrifying sharks that are, like, whatever. But then it's
because we do have some CG sharks. We see sharks.
Yeah, there's like stock footage of sharks.
The opening sequence is like a bad made-for-TV flashback that could be sharks.
It's left ambiguous up until that, like, second act twist or whatever, that turn. It's not really a twist, but yes, because the box, and I'm sure the back of the box mentions
it is only crocodiles.
It's secretly a crocodile, but yes. I don't know if that's even intentional, or if they just forgot to clarify, but it's still
I think it's like anything else. You make a movie, but you don't make the box art. Some other company, well, we got to sell this thing, and that's how it gets done.
Well,
but
I don't even know
they did do a clever twist.
It's meant to be a reveal.
I think it's kind of like if you were to watch this on TV, you'd come into the beginning, it would be a surprise.
Yeah, but do you think it's intentional? I was very surprised, but I don't know if it's just like a mistake where they were like, oh, it's just like, hey, we're ratcheting up the tension here.
I'd say it has to be on purpose.
I would hope so.
Because it's a movie about blood surfing, and that never plays into any part of the bad guy.
Which is so good. Yeah. Yeah, because it seems like it's like almost like a parody, like a movie that's in a movie on the TV where someone's like, turn that shit off, right? Where it's like, yeah, of course, they're in shark-infested waters surfing. It has, glory shots of surfers surfing and stuff. And you're like, oh, this is just going to be like, wait, come back, no! I'm getting eaten by sharks. And you're like, oh, I'm so bored.
Yeah, but there's not enough surfers for that to be what it is. Like, it would have to be like a blood surf competition or something.
Well, they could have been like stranded or trapped there, right? They're in some island somewhere. I didn't know where it was going, but I knew that I was going to hate it. Out loud during that flashback with like the like sea captain like no, and then like blood like just like Kool-Aid just like flowing through. I like audibly out loud was like, oh no. I was like, what are we doing?
It is a terrible opening sequence. It's very made for TV, and like it sets you up in a way, well, I think, for success, because if you made it through that, everything else is glorious.
If that didn't turn you off, exactly.
So, like, in the vein of this feeling kind of like a parody, the one of the main characters here, the one who is like the director, or like, what you want to call him.
I called him douche.
Can someone do something about the smoke? It's killing me.
I guess that's honestly because he doesn't really ever direct. He kind of just says like, "Are we making a movie?" Like he doesn't have anything to actually do with it.
He's more of a producer.
He's a financier,
and that's an inside joke.
Kind of. The only thing I know him from is the Police Academy TV show.
You need some help with that? Oh yeah, sure, thanks. Is here okay?
Where he plays the Mahoney kind of character.
Yeah, he seems like a fake Mahoney.
So like he's a spoofy character to me because I've only ever seen him play this like fake ass character in this comedy series.
I couldn't place it, but the way he talks, he's kind of like shouting every line, like, "Hey, guys!" And now I'm like, he's doing a Mahoney in this movie. That's crazy.
Although this may have come out before that. I'm not familiar when that.
Someone saw it and was like, "This is our Mahoney. He's a perfect fit. This is a natural."
Maybe.
Color me slow. It happens every once in a while. What's the deal?
Exactly.
No, but like everything about this, if you've ever like filmed anything, you're like, well, this isn't how. And it's weird because the movie is filmed by a person who makes movies, and them to say like, oh yeah, the riskiest possible extreme sport of blood-soaked surfing, we're gonna film that one camera setup.
Yeah. What?
And from in the water would be the literal worst place to film that.
Yeah. It's such a confusing part. Because you don't realize like what's all involved yet, and that it is just where like I thought she was like the bitchy producer chick, and like he was like, and like they were like the money, but then she puts on a chainmail suit and hops in the water with the fucking stupid camera, and you're like, what is this operation?
Have you ever been in the ocean? Because no one in this movie has. Because in every sequence, when someone's just in the ocean, it's calm, flat water.
Lunchtime! Lunch is served.
But then people are surfing, and you're like, those don't mix. You cannot surf on calm, flat water.
And like the direction sometimes, because someone gets on a surfboard at one point to like get away, and I'm like, well, you can't get away. There's no way. They're not in the part of the. Wait,
there he goes.
Yeah, whatever. See you guys in paradise.
Borrowing your surfboard, all right?
And it's like ding ding ding. They play like fake that like Dick Dale, like ding 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 ding. Bing, 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 bing. We're like
no one cares about how
like,
water works or anything like that. Yeah. But it's fine because again, it's kind of parodying.
Surfing is not even that big of a deal in the movie. No. So like at first you're like, oh no, but then it's like they drop that to get to the Crocs. So it's like fine.
And the Croc I think looks good.
Why don't you get us the hell out of here now?
Yeah. Like a little like chubby in the neck at times, like has like a weird proportion thing.
Rude.
But I like it, especially there's a part where he gets like harpooned and like he's like on the fucking net, like that him thrashing. I was like, no, that looks pretty solid.
Yeah,
I don't know why you ever would get in the water with that, but
absolutely not, never. The shark looks fine to me. I think it's like okay.
The Croc.
You know, it's like a fake. What?
You said the shark.
Yeah, the shark looks fine. No, like the monster in the movie is like, all right, like fine, whatever. It's
more than serviceable for what the movie is, though.
100%, and that's the whole point. Is like, it doesn't look noticeably better or worse than like other movies where I'm expected to believe, like, oh, you did experiments on this animal and now it's so whatever, right? It's like, yeah.
There are some other twists and turns in this movie that I like. Like there's those gorillas in the woods. I think they're great.
What the hell do I do with you? Huh?
There are parodies also.
I was going to say, to clarify, humans who are like the bandits or whatever you call it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like pirates of the island. I don't know what you want to call them.
No! Can anyone of you here tell me what the hell you're doing here on my island?
Wonderful.
Who I would imagine have set up these traps that ultimately end up killing their leader.
Yeah.
I love that.
Fuck this.
Oh, shit.
No, this was a wonderful part of the movie because this was when it really started to get like endearing and like weird in a way.
Fuck me.
Fuck them!
Go! Come on!
Because they're played to be like funny, like you said, like they're kind of like a. It's. The whole movie gets dangerously close to like spoof territory, but in a way that I think is brilliant and like not intentional.
No,
but
it's an earnest attempt to make a good movie, and it made a great movie.
Because those gorillas is a perfect term. I was going to say something else. Those do like the main guy's doing like a Cheech Marin impression almost.
Prove it, I'm right here.
No, you come here.
No, you come here.
they're doing this weird, it has such a weird vibe, and then it's like this switch flips, and like this girl's about to get raped, and there's like guns, they're like grabbing dudes by the hair and like pulling their necks back, and they have guns on their necks, and I'm like, tonally, this doesn't make sense.
Oh, no!
Like, cause like in a comedy, it's like funny when like they're gonna like steal the female person, because it's not really gonna be a real rape. We're in a comedy.
Yeah, but in this, you don't know.
Now it feels like it's gonna be a real. I'm like, wait a minute, what the?
Well, and like there's a level of nudity in this movie where you're like, I guess
oh,
anything
yes.
could happen.
Wait a minute, yes, no, the movie's crazy.
Yeah,
I love this film.
No, like, and there's a number of tonal shifts, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
So, like, our first thing, like, you know, is our group and their surfing thing. And then there's, like, you know, these pirates. Then there's, like, a sea captain who comes back for a redemption arc.
Yeah, Captain Ahab.
And then it's a monster movie. Like, it
Yes.
has a few, like, situational, like, switches that are stark contrast to each other.
And there's stuff that would happen, like, oh god, it's like all like a soup in my mind, but there's a point where like, okay, something else is gonna happen, we have to film that too, and like we've been through all this, all the things that we've mentioned, we're back on like another boat, and like the exact same thing happens, where the chick puts on the chainmail, or like doesn't even put on the chainmail.
What do you think? Not bad, huh?
Are you totally fucking mad?
And just jumps back into the water.
It just jumps in the
I'm
water.
Like, what are you doing?
But so
you know what's happening now.
None
like,
of that
it's
made
insane.
sense to me
Yeah.
because, so like with the part you're talking about is when she jumps back in the water is they're trying to kill this large crocodile and they have it on the line.
You have
now,
to film the
how
death.
tension and a line works is it would prevent it from swimming away. It wouldn't prevent it from coming towards the line where our person with a camera is.
I just assumed that all this was like turned around and didn't make sense spatially or whatever. Like
no,
you know,
she's between it and the boat,
Yeah.
and it's somehow not killing her, or she's just off to the side. It doesn't make any sense, or why you would ever risk that.
Yeah. Well, like, okay, I could forgive the like logistics if it's just like a gratuitous movie and she's about to get bitten in half and who cares or whatever. And also in a comedy, it like works if we jump back in the water even after we are well aware of all the threats.
There are still sharks. Like
yes,
that is not a thing to be not fearful of.
They make a statement like he owns these waters, the crocodile and stuff. And I'm like, okay, but that doesn't imply that he has murdered every shark surrounding the island for like 100 miles and you're just safe. Like there's some blood surf at one point, as in like choppy waters that are bloody, and I think that's meant to be the crocodile like attacking sharks and stuff, but not like
like a bomb of a fucking attack.
But it's not like every shark ever, right? So
well, maybe all the sharks were really close together, and his mouth is so big, just
exactly.
got them all.
What the fuck was that?
Ever see anything like that?
I don't know. But they do things in the movie that, like, I'm like, oh, I'm very impressed that this even happened. Like, blowing up the pirate's ship. Like, that's a budgetary expense that you didn't need to have.
Absolutely.
Like, they could have just, oh, we ran out of gas, or oh, we ran on the rocks, and they just jumped off the boat, and it would have been exactly the same thing. But they blew up a fucking boat. They crashed the other ship into the fucking rocks. For I don't think any reason at all, other than the ability to walk across. Like, couldn't you have tried to not? I don't know.
No, like things don't even lead into each other in a way that makes sense. That's why the movie's such an experience, such a surreal like thing. Because you think you're like, I know where this is going. It's a comedy. Obviously, it's this, or oh, those characters are just gone now. But then they come back. You're like, what's going on? Right, the bandit that comes back, it's only the leader now because he has to get killed.
Everyone else is dead, yeah.
Oh, shit. It's better just you and me, right, baby?
Well, no, didn't they swim to shore or no?
I think they did, but the Croc is, you know,
we assume
somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. But like, you know,
when he comes back, he's like, oh, Mamacita or whatever.
Yeah, he's
like,
coming
I love
back.
it.
Mamacita, come home to Papa. You brought a friend with you.
He's coming back just for rape, though. He's not coming back like, that thing, he killed everyone, I'm a good guy now. Like
it
it's
was
not
his
that.
brother's last wish
to
rape an American. She's Australian, close enough, and that's what he's gonna do.
I'm not American. I'm Australian.
Pwede na. Pwede na kitang pagtagaan.
Who says it's good enough?
He's gonna carry out his brother's last wishes, obviously. Yeah, his brother's goofy. that whole thing for like 2 seconds to characterize him, and then to make him like the secret boss rapist or whatever. Very strange.
Well, I'm sure they were all going to take a turn.
He absconded with the damsel. And then, okay, so like that's, I wrote in my notes, money shot, that's when the Croc leaps out of the water and snatches a person off of a thing.
It floats for a few seconds just to get that
the
actual
gravity
shot.
is not proper.
There's a number of great crocodile kills. When our douchebag is surfing right into its mouth. If they had a little bit better way of getting coverage on that, it would have been amazing.
Okay, but you feel it's all sort of thrown together and
a lot of the things, they don't actually have these things to like line up, so sizes and scales are definitely off.
So like the scale's definitely off, but then it's like the dude surfs and like surfs past the Croc to like disappear almost. It's very hard to explain. It's very quick and there's like jumbles and it just sort of cuts to like boosh, this like red water again.
It cuts the reactionary face of everybody who like was his friend or girlfriend or worked for him or whatever, and there's like, ooh, douche, what an idiot, fucking moron. I'm like, she was his girlfriend for God knows how long.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer person. Amen.
And yes, they're on the rocks right now, but to just be like, oh, well, it's dead. They cared more about like anyone else that died.
Yeah.
The random 15-year-old girl he statutory raped. He was like, no!
Come on, this isn't fun anymore!
They do like a round of toasts to all the dead friends.
Yeah.
And they're all like, this person, that person, this other person that we just met yesterday.
To Lemia. To Sonny.
To Melba.
Like, it's this crazy thing to be like, oh, we're going to honor these people and go back and destroy the crocodile scene and everything.
Well, that's to, like, rub it in the douche's face because he's like, to us! And they're like, not to us. We didn't sacrifice anything.
You know what? I think a toast is in order, huh? To us.
So like, but that too, I like couldn't read the situation. I'm like, well, he's giving a speech where I think they're supposed to react negatively, but then they pass the ball around and like he gets it again and they just keep going or something. It's like very awkward. It doesn't make sense.
It wasn't received well though.
But you mentioned the statutory rape, which I think is like delightful.
There's a great line there. I like that character. I didn't like that he died. Well, I meant the guy.
Oh, Jeremy's the best.
She was good too.
She's good, but he's the best.
I didn't like that he died.
This is what him in the bloody head! Overuse!
And if he was gonna die, I would have liked him to have lost the necklace before he dies. If the necklace actually was keeping him safe.
As if it was. Wow, you're paying attention to like the beats of the movie.
I watch
That's crazy.
movies,
yeah.
I stink, man. Come on! I fucking stink big time! Damn right you do!
But so he meets this girl, like, you know, they fall for each other.
Like instantly.
He's like, how old are you? And she's like, 15. He's like, God, why?
How old are you?
I'm going to be 15 next month.
God, why?
I'm 19, silly.
And she's like, I'm 19, you idiot. And then later on, she's like, I'm 15.
Yeah, and he's like,
is that illegal here?
This guy, he's like the guy from, what's the name of that? Sugar Ray.
25 years old. My mother, God rest her soul. Lord of mercy.
He reminds me of Mr. Sugar Ray himself.
Mark McGrath?
No one knows his name.
I never knew how much you loved me.
Come on. The guy. He reminds me of that guy with like his style and all that stuff.
Hey, you mean you think I'm better looking?
And this character I instantly hated, and by the end, by his death,
won you over?
I was so upset, where I'm like, well, now there's no point in watching the last 20 minutes of this movie, because this guy's dead. He, at one point, does a, like, Olympic dive off of the boat.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just jumping
about to explode, he does
and
like,
he goes, ooh, and does this crazy flip thing, and I was like, what is happening? He ends up being really funny and ends up doing really cool stuff.
Do you sleep there alone? Just you and me now, buddy.
But we can't overlook the fact that like they have sex and like there's a real sex scene in this movie.
Oh yeah, no, they went for it.
And you're like, well, that only seems weird now because every movie is a Marvel movie and no one ever has sex or something.
This was pretty common for a 2000s movie.
I mean,
but you often wouldn't say they're 15.
Well, and you wouldn't like this is a TV like movie, right? So why are you seeing asses and titties and all?
Well, I used to love like
what's
sometimes these were originals, so like, it would be like on Sci-Fi just like this, and they would just blur that part. And I'm like, that's so weird.
How old are you, really?
17.
Is that legal here?
Or when they could, they would cut them out. But sometimes, like, they were uncuttable. Like, it's like, oh, that's a stripper during a conversation scene, and like, we need that.
The whole time. Exactly. But this was like striking, and again, like I hear you on the time period, but it still was so out of place.
Oh yeah.
I expected some TNA and all that stuff, but this is like they're like thrusting. There's like an actual sex scene.
Yes. Out of place is the
anymore.
sea captain and his girlfriend.
Oh my God!
There's such a dramatic difference in them, and then there's just like a casual line drop of like, he won me in a poker game or a dart game or some sort of a game of chance.
He won me, you know, in a dart game. First man ever treat me like it was more than just some doll to dress up and play with.
And you're like, are we breezing over that? Like, is that not a thing? Here? We should talk more about that. Are you a slave?
And
what does that mean?
And it's a voyeuristic thing, and she's looking at the dude.
Yeah.
The drunk dudes come back, and they see them just fucking outside. And again, he's older. He's also doing like a Popeye impression the whole time.
Son of a bitch. You got him killed!
John!
Like, these characters are very strange. You don't want to see this. This is not titillating or good.
No.
But even that is more tastefully done. We don't see things versus like the real sex scene, which we can't show anyway, but trust me, there's a sex scene in this movie.
We'll show it.
This is a society of surfing.
But like Bog is like the main surfer character here.
Okay.
He lives. He reminds me so much of the main character from Crocodile. Like they're like cut from the same cloth.
He
is fucking liar, sir.
This is your generic main
yeah,
character.
He's generic white dude in movie.
It's like a video game. You're just like, I pick a dude and nothing.
Exactly.
Whatever,
Like he delivers all his lines very flatly.
He's so bad.
There's nothing really fun about it. But they write him terribly.
Yes,
like he doesn't care about his life at all because he has plot armor and like does like repeatedly just these suicide mission on suicide mission.
Going back.
It's not a good idea.
Hey, he might still be alive.
I'll go.
I won't. Don't be stupid.
He's always the one to kind of volunteer to like, oh, we have to get the thing. Oh, I'll dive down there.
He's so virtuous and skillful. I can't be touched because I'm so good.
But it happens. But like, that's not meant to contrast with young Jeremy, who's awesome. Like in the beginning, I'm like, well, I hate that guy. I don't know anything else, but I know I hate that guy.
Bloodsurfing.
And it completely flipped because like
he has like things about him. He's a character.
Yes.
He actually does something. He's not just this always white bread.
And he had chemistry and like charisma with various people in different ways
through various times.
As required. But
what's your name?
Lemia.
Lemia. I like that name.
Thank you.
The main guy, the guy who you're supposed to be like, you're rooting for him, they give him a love interest, they give him this like heroic, like I'm the one who's gonna go back and save the thing. And I'm like, you stink, you have no charisma with anybody. You deliver lines like, oh no. Like it's just these things, I'm like, this is awful, I hate you so much.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
Get in my movie. So like when Jeremy dies and I'm like, oh no, that's the other guy's the guy. Of course he is. Of course he is.
Yeah.
Look at that salty son of a bitch just sitting there.
I love the part when she does give him that necklace that says it will protect you. He's like, from everything. And it cuts to the father. Not everything.
Not everything.
this cock blocking son of a bitch.
No, nothing can hurt you.
Not quite nothing.
Yeah, a lot of that's thrown together, but in like a charming way.
Exactly.
I don't mind that like, oh, this is like when they would do dialogue, I'm like, don't do this. Get back on the boat. Like, stop talking. So like, I can't say that. Like, I wanted more of a backstory with who these people are and what's happening. Like, no, it's not a thing.
It's very slapped together, really, in general, where it's like, oh, we want you to take us there because this guy won't take us there. I won't take you there either. Oh, we got there anyway. Like, wait a minute, what?
There's so much, it's so thick with things where you're like, why do you expect me to be invested in this backstory with this character or this thing with that character?
No. And their ultimate plan is like, oh, we're going to blow it up. And the sea captain's like, I've run my ship ashore, and when it gets in here, I'm going to blow it up.
All right, you motherfucker. Breakfast.
And he gets bitten in half while doing a pull-up.
Damn you now!
and he's just like, ah, bitch, and doesn't blow it up.
But that is a callback to when he said, you don't die instantly, you see. You writhe around for a little while.
The screams. See, they didn't die right away. They just lay there on the rocks. And I'm here, like over there.
Yeah, and then he didn't die instantly. He had enough time to like cuss him out and then go and like fall off.
His whole business, I was like, oh god, like you've already lost.
There's something wrong with his face.
Well,
something's happening with this man.
You think this is fodder for some cheap entertainment?
Then when their plan is like, oh, we'll topple the the ancient temple on him. I was like, he's standing right there. Yeah. Throw the bomb.
No, so like, okay, I'm glad.
And then if you don't get him, he still can't cross this moat of acid water, alkali, whatever bullshit you threw at me.
You go north, you find some ruins, fresh water, chock full of alkaline. Salties hate it, burns the shit out of them.
Saltwater crocs do not like fresh water.
They wouldn't know instantly what it was.
No, it's insane.
They're not scientists.
And it's
especially
literally
like in the heat of I'm fucking kill you mode.
Sorry, I just picture the croc like with like test tubes, like
a little fish tank tester,
like doing a little strip and being like, too much. Sorry. Yes, but like when they have explosives, I too picture, okay, what are we doing? Maybe we cut to like, oh, it's a goat. Okay, are those heads from before or something? We like do something. We like trick him into eating something full of bombs, and we blow him up from the inside.
I would literally like because he got really close for it to like, hey, come chase me.
Come on!
Let me throw the bomb and boop.
He throws rocks at him.
Yeah.
I made a bridge to chase me.
He knows he can hit him.
Where you could just be throwing like wrap all the bombs together with like whatever you would build a raft out of on this island, like
vines that you swing on later.
Something. Yeah, whatever fantasy elements we need, and then just chuck that satchel of charges at it and blow it up. Instead, though, yes, they like Tetris them, they Jenga them.
They plan for it was a controlled demolition
into the ruins. Yes, exactly. Knowing that we've set it just right. That like we just lure the croc underneath and then it falls.
And it's when Bog walks into the cave. I'm like, how did you not know it wouldn't just crush him to death? Like that's such a risk. It was so dumb.
It's super risky, and it's not like a big payoff where you go like, wow, that's an elaborate way to do that. You're like, what is happening? Why? Oh no. And it doesn't work. That's the whole fucking point.
Well, and based on where that's filmed, I'm like, this is a big set you made and built. This is a lot just for this.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some other movie was already built and using that, but it seemed like very much for what we had.
There's a quick shot in like the intro credits of some ruins, and I wrote in my notes, some Legend of the Hidden Temple ass ruins out there or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, but they come back. They're back in the thing. Yay, it's doing
everything you got, every part of that buffalo.
It's a big thing. But yes, I don't know why it was so important to have the explosives, to use them that way, to have them not work. I think in that shot too, for a brief instant, it's like a tiny lizard or like a toy or something. Did you notice?
I did notice that like the boat for a moment looked like a very tiny miniature.
Yes.
Like when it lands on the rocks.
I think there's a few miniatures in this. I didn't go back and like frame by frame it or whatever, but there's a part where like the croc, it's early on, where he's like shattering the docks and stuff. And I think in one spot, this is what's in my head. It's probably not that. It like cuts to like a normal lizard and a bunch of toothpicks. I don't know if that's possible.
I don't think that's possible, but let me see.
Not literally, but close. Where I was like, what? And then later it looked like, because like something about the plants, like the grass or something was like too big. And I'm like,
yeah, there's a lot of scale things.
That's just a little lizard.
But that whole dock exploding bit, like the first bit is like, oh, a bit of tail knocks over some things and our dudes fall in the water. But then it's like, boosh, 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 like just destroying explosions.
Well, it's the same depth charges he used to kill the sharks earlier. Exactly. Hell yeah.
Huh? You like that? Fuck you! Yeah, fuck you! Fuck you! I guess that's what you call crop teasing.
When the gorillas first come upon them, the brightest light in the world turns on.
Oh yeah.
What is that from?
Nothing.
All right, let's get the hell out of here.
Don't you fucking move an inch!
This way.
It's never referenced. I don't know what that is.
I wasn't thinking that way, but yes, I have no idea. Something happens, right? And you're like, oh, you're on our island now.
Yeah, it's a nonsensical thing, which leads into like nonsensical dialogue, like, it turned into a shish kebab.
You mean shish kebab?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better with chicken.
Shut the fuck up!
Like, what? Shish kebab?
So like, yeah, some of it's like cringy or like problematic or whatever.
Do they high five you like, shish kebab? Yeah! Like
Godzilla? Like Godzilla? Yeah, like in the movies, huh?
Like, you got the word I was trying to say, or some bullshit like that.
That would not surprise me. But this is funny you mentioned this scene. Because this is one of my other favorite Jeremy moments that I wanted to mention, because
he's got a slew of them.
Yeah, they all have the guns, and then he starts to like kneel and goes, "We come in peace," and then like makes a motion like, "Come on, guys, like kneel. You're supposed to kneel now."
We come in peace.
Excuse me. Which is like so brilliant and like out of place and crazy. These are just random dudes with guns that showed up. It isn't like, oh, we're making first contact here or something, right? But he treats it like that, which is so endearing and funny. And then like no one else, they just go like, what? Or like you don't even see their reaction, or like someone reacts like negatively. They don't go along with it, obviously.
He tries to like walk into the woods and just leave at one point too, and they're like, what are you doing, white boy?
Yeah, he comes back. Yeah, I don't know if this guy was like ad-libbing these things.
He was brilliant. Right? There's one part which I have to believe he just did. In the beginning, they first land on the island, they're on like the docks area, and like they give a bowl of like fruit to the people, and he's like, a mango. And he just bites the mango like it's an apple, because I think he's never had a mango before. But then I think realizing like, I shouldn't be eating it like this.
Right.
He just like looks at somebody and just puts it in their bucket and walks away. And they're just like an extra like that's walking. They're like, you just gave me a mango. What is this? And it's like that. It's the same fish kind of line. Where I was like, what the hell's going on here?
That's the same fish they just passed each other.
Flew, fish flew.
We gotta get them to fight somehow. They just passed that same fish head back and forth. You think we can get them to fight?
I have to find same fish. Yeah, no, it's amazing. Like if you just focus on that guy, it's like a much better movie.
Everything he does is gold. I actually meant to look like what are the things at the end, because I bet they're all good.
I only want to see Jeremy movies now.
I would be sad if it was the only thing he's ever done.
It probably is.
Anyone want some more mango juice?
No, thank you.
Yes, please. I'd love some.
No, but like, okay, so like contrast that. So like, oh, how does the movie end? Oh, triumphantly, we've now defeated the crocodile, right? We like told him a riddle and like smoke started coming out of his ears. He said, does not compute, whatever. We kill him somehow, it's fine. And then there's like a CPR fake out with kissing, and I'm like, what?
Oh. I knew you'd kiss me.
You creep.
It's like so out of place and weird, but like she's into it ultimately, and then they kiss, and we get some overdubbed stuff. Like, so when are we getting rescued? Who cares? We're on the island now, fucking in the woods. And I'm like, what?
Any idea how we're gonna get off this island?
None.
Do we really care?
No.
That's
once Jeremy dies, it's all downhill.
It's all downhill. Like the Australian chicks. She had more charisma with that other chick who gets killed like right in front of them.
That girl dying was so dumb too. And you're like, why are you kicking this dead body?
Son of a bitch! I hate you, you bastard! I hate you! How does it feel, goddamn you?
Don't you know it's a horror movie? It's not dead yet.
Also, go for the eyes.
Just gets devoured. Instantly.
Yeah, and it's one of those like that's more on par with what I expect from these films, where she's like kicking it and its mouth open.
Fuck you! Come on!
And then closes a little, but then we cut and she's like in up to the waist.
Let it go!
Like, oh no!
Well, like it's slurped her like spaghetti.
Exactly.
Had to.
What?
We're still there.
No way.
I would love to just see like if there was a behind the scenes where it's like, this is all the footage you could have got from inside the water. Like in every one of these scenarios where she's filming, from the deck of the boat is 1000% a better shot that would actually see the whole act of surfing.
The whole thing.
You know, these waves are breaking all the way into shore. You could actually just sit on the beach and shoot it with a telephoto.
Sure I could, and it would look like shit.
If you're in the water, half the time, you're just fucking seeing the wave that is hitting you. You're not doing anything. And then unless they're surfing right past you, which they do for one moment.
Johnny's too slow! Totally out of control.
You've now lost them entirely. You have nothing.
Yeah, some of the underwater shots are really whack, where like she's treading water and there are sharks or things happening. Like,
that's just for us.
Imposed. Yeah, but like I don't think. Like to your point, if we had seen all that B-roll or footage or whatever, that could only accompany, right?
Yeah, you would need to be watching the movie. Exactly.
Exactly.
So the idea of just putting these people at risk, only 2 people, mind you, and you're far enough away that a slight bite, you're gonna die. There's no medical attention to be had. So to not want to get as much coverage here as possible, it boggles my mind. If we film a death scene in a movie, we have 3 cameras going. So the idea that you're filming an actual person probably die, and you're like, 1 camera, worst angle, got it.
Listen, we only have 1 T-shirt, and once there's blood on it, there's blood on it. We can't.
They only have 1 life, and once it's gone,
we can't do it. It's a very different situation. So like, yes. So like, you say that, and then I can empathize with them being like, okay, but I have 3 people for a week or something like that or something. But like, yes, there should be some reference. You can give the other guy another. Use the same fake camera. They're never in the same shot. Just have that guy filming up there too. Or if you wanted to, I think what you would prefer is to introduce several like Bulk and Skull people.
Yeah, just people that could die.
Yeah, easy deaths.
The captain and his wife could. Oh, they're also part of the crew.
Maybe have a real dinner in a restaurant we don't have to catch, clean, and cook it ourselves.
Sit your ass down, Artemis.
Yeah.
And you have a little thing of saying, you're just going to stay on the beach and hit record. You're on the boat. Just look through the viewfinder.
They're like, we speak perfect English.
Yeah, exactly.
Have like a
room
funny
for humor, something.
You can have a dude like, oh, we're going to go get high. Oh, don't tell them. And they're on the deck of the boat. Whoa, what was that noise? And something happened.
Yeah, it's Jack Black as a fake Rastafarian.
Yeah.
Damn. You know what I was saying? Are you looking for some bread?
There's a part that has like the worst editing I've ever seen. It's very subtle, but the way it's just a random conversation, but the way they're talking, it's like cutting in the guy and his reaction and back and forth, and I'm just like, this is appalling.
I've got a lot to do and precious little time to do it in.
The close-ups are like too close. You're like, what am I looking at?
You got yourself involved, and I will take you back when I've done what has to be done.
And then it cuts to like the wide shot, and they're like nose to nose.
You have absolutely no right to involve us in this.
It was very interesting.
Only had 1 camera.
Where's the camera?
The camera's in the bag that's on the boat.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
What are you doing? Get out of here!
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinions you can really trust.